What's going on, y'all? This is True. I got a question for y'all. How would you feel if you was wrongfully convicted, hauled off to jail, and spent the next 43 years in the penitentiary for something that you didn't do? Would you be able to make it? And if so, how would you make it for 43 years? That's about 15,000 days or something like that. Unfathomable. Well, my man Kevin Strickland is still in jail. Last month, the prosecutor's office said, you didn't do it. The two guys that was on the run back when you was arrested confessed to the crime. They went in and out of the penitentiary. 10 years, I think, each one of them stayed in there. And they was released. He denied involvement from the get-go. The only witness that was left alive was somebody that he knew. Pointed the finger and said he did it. Under duress, she claims. She claims the police told her, just point the finger at Kevin and all of this will be over, which she did. Years later, she has passed away. And the governor would not pardon him. The Supreme Court would not do anything. And he's 63 or 64 years old now, in a wheelchair, waiting to die. Unbelievable. Only in America. Kevin Strickland, y'all. Kevin Strickland. Pray for Kevin Strickland. That is a hard lick. And we complain about little things. Eat week in, week out. Man. Check it out. True.
We met Kevin Strickland on his 62nd birthday.
Let me start by saying happy birthday to you. Any thoughts in particular on this day with regard to spending another day, another year here?
I was determined to spend this birthday awake as long as I could. Never know if this is going to be the last one.
It's decades in prison for a crime he says he didn't commit. In fact, the same prosecutor's office that tried him for a 1978 triple murder has since determined he's innocent. That finality came for Kevin Strickland in 1979, following his arrest a year earlier for the gruesome triple homicide of Larry Ingram, John Walker, and Sherry Black. Police arriving at this Kansas City home found blood-stained sheets, trash-covered floors. Concerned neighbors looking at investigators in horror. That night is seared in Strickland's memory.
April 25th, 1978, 9:30 p.m. It was a Tuesday. Do you remember what you were doing?
Yes, I know exactly what I was doing. I was at home. I think I was watching Three's Company and on and off the telephone.
Relatives confirmed his alibi at the time.
So at what point do police come to you and start accusing you of this triple murder?
The next morning.
And you are thinking...
This can't be happening.
The crime shook the local community. While Strickland was in custody charged with the murders, two other suspects, Kilm Atkins and Vincent Bell, were on the run. Police found Strickland's fingerprint on Bell's car, which Strickland says he had driven on multiple occasions as the men grew up together. He also says he was confident Cynthia Douglas, the only surviving eyewitness, knew him and would know he was not involved.
Cynthia Douglas then points you out as being one of the shooters.
Right. Yeah, disbelief, total disbelief.
His first trial ended in a hung jury. The lone black juror, the only holdout.
What did the prosecutor at the time, do you remember what he said?
I'll never forget it. He come over to the table, I'm sitting there, and he tells my attorney, he said, I'll make sure this doesn't happen next time.
And Mr. Strickland was convicted by an all-white jury.
The reporter whose story brought Strickland's case to the prosecutor's attention recalls a conversation he had with one of the members of that jury.
She said the only detail she could remember from the trial was that Mr. Strickland looked in his driver's license photo like a thug and a bad guy.
Both Bell and Adkins ultimately admitted to the murders and cleared Strickland in sworn confessions. The original prosecutor, who is now deceased, never looked further into those claims of Strickland's innocence.
The most important piece of evidence was a recantation of a witness.
She told her now ex-husband that the police told her all she had to do was pick Strickland and this would be over.
Cynthia Douglas passed away in 2015. ABC News reached out to the Kansas City Police Department, and they deferred comment to the prosecutor's office.
You remain hopeful today? You think you're going to get out this year?
More so now than ever.
But just last week, the Missouri Supreme Court denied a petition to free him, something his lawyer calls a procedural barrier. Also last week, Governor Parsons' office announced the names of 36 pardons. Kevin Strickland was not one of them.
When something like that comes up, we look at those cases, but I don't know that necessarily makes it a priority to jump in front of the line. He's been tried, again, and a jury of his peers that found him guilty.
Kevin Strickland has served more than 15,000 days behind bars. If exonerated, he will be one of the longest wrongful imprisonments in U.S. history. You get out of jail free card, you get out of jail free card, but not for you, Mr. Strickland. Again, trying to just help me understand